Well, we have a lot of fun with the three-word sayings like vacant property sucks. There's a lot of more, not less, and now, not later. How old are you, Chase?
I'm 29.
That's right. We discussed that. So 29. So I can put money in and try and save today, and we can look at 10 or 15 years down the road because I'm 67. Or you can put money in today and you can stop more money at the end of it than I will because you started earlier, 29 versus 67. So sooner, not later, is a mantra for the younger generation. And people say, I don't know what to invest in, and I don't know anything about real estate, or I don't know anything about the stock market. Well, you don't have to know that much, but you can Google, like Warren Buffett saying, just buy an index fund. You don't have to be a rocket scientist anymore. The biggest problem is people never live below their means.
Yeah.
You're 70% of America can't even write a $500 check.
No.
How are you going to put money in an account? How are you going to save anything and grow for
Yeah.
the future? But that's where we say more, not less. That's where we say now, not later. And that's where we say vacant property sucks.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for checking out the Big Hitters podcast. I am here with Doug Pederson today. Doug is the owner and founder of Twin City Property Management. Doug, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Chase, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, maybe just to start, Doug, if you don't mind, giving our audience just a little bit of an idea of who you are. How did you get into property management? And what's a little bit of your story?
Well, interesting. Property management is an important part of who I am, what we do, but that's not who I am, and that's not what I do. I'm a real estate investor first and foremost. I'm 67 years old. I've been doing it for 35 years, and
Wow.
I love looking for deals. I love buying property. I like managing my property. I have 12 employees. We have about 1,100 units the way we score units, but we don't manage other people's property. So
Interesting.
my vested interest in managing is higher than the normal property manager because it's not a 4 or 6 or 8% hit if you got a vacant unit. It's 100% hit for us. I have 12 employees. I have an amazing group of people. They love what we do. They understand what we do. They understand why we do it. After 35 years now, part of my mission statement is to not just manage property well and not to buy more property, but to educate, to teach, and to mentor my
Mm,
employees so they can buy their own property and they can manage their own properties that they own if they want to. So that
hmm
for 35 years, that's kind of the evolution. I'm a real estate investor first and foremost.
Okay. That's so cool. So just to be clear, so Twin City, y'all are managing your individual properties. You're not managing any, outside investors' properties or anything like that.
Yeah, I have no partners. It's a effectively a sole proprietorship.
hmm
Uh, we have probably 6 different companies that actually own the property, and then the seventh company is Twin City Properties Management Inc., a corporation that hires the employees, hires the vendors, manages the property, rents the property. All of our leases say Twin City Properties Management Inc., and then the owner's blank in that lease is whatever company owns the property. But over
Okay.
years, it's evolved a bit. It's changed faces a time or two. We are a management company. Twin City Properties Management Inc. is the company that we market, that we put out there in front of the public, so to speak. But that's a byproduct of who I am and what I do.
Yeah. That's so cool. I'm always curious. I'm 29, so I'm coming up on my 30s, and I initially bought a condo, and then I now live in a single family home. And, I've kind of had friends who have done some wholesaling, who have tried to do some flips. A couple friends have bought duplexes, things like that. Where did you sort of start in the investing world? Were you like a young college grad who just went out and bought a property, and or did you kind of have a vision before then?
Well, I'll be honest with you. My financial success is probably a very dull and boring story.
Hmm.
Because to buy property, you want to buy it earlier in life, and you want to hold on to it. You never want to sell. So that's
Hmm.
really boring. Hey, let's go buy one more. Hey, let's go buy one more. The the seed, if you will, that was originally planted is probably, I got to give credit to my father. He bought me the books, and he saw real estate as a tool, and he saw it as an investment opportunity. And he and I would talk money, and we would talk investing. Um, and he actually bought a triplex himself. But my mom and dad are super sweet people. I mean, very,
Hmm.
very genuine,
It's good
heartfelt,
to hear.
careful people, uh, and horrible landlords because the
Okay.
tenants just walked all over them. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
so it's really
Late on
important.
rent and things like that.
It's really important if you're going to be a landlord that goes home at 5 o'clock at night and that
Hmm.
spend time with family, not distracted by all the fires you're still putting out. Uh, we have
Totally.
we have a multi-page document. We have another goes after that. We're not confused about how to control the property. It's a very fair lease. You behave, you pay your rent, you're a good neighbor, we take care of you. Air conditioner goes out, we replace it or we repair it, so on and so forth. But the management of the property, the control of the property is huge. We don't have a problem with that, so it's very minor in what we do because we're really
Hmm.
good at it. But my dad probably planted the seed first. And I'll be honest with you, when I graduated college in 1981 with no direction and no vision, I interviewed
Hmm.
twice and hated the process and the prospect of going to work for somebody else. I
Yeah.
probably realized at the time that I needed to be an entrepreneur or that I was unhirable. My wife calls me unhirable.
Yeah. That's not the
So
worst thing to be sometimes.
I kind of, if I'm honest, I'm kind of proud of it now. But
Yeah. Seriously.
you don't know who you are younger in life, earlier in life. And so what you do is you put one foot in front of the other and you just assume everybody thinks the way you do and everybody's the same. We're not. And we're
Hmm.
all different, unique people. So my dad probably planted the seed. And then for lack of anything else to do, I bought in 1989 what you would call today a fixer upper. And yeah, I was going to flip it and I was going to sell it. The only guy that wanted, I shouldn't say the only one, but everybody wanted me to finance it for them. I paid $11,500 for a two-bedroom house. I got 30,
Oh, dog, you're gonna make me sick.
I
Don't
got,
say
I
it.
got $30 a month in oil revenue off that house. I put
Oh man.
1,000 into it. I was going to sell it for 40, which is good money today. It was great money back then.
Was
And
this in Texas? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Texas. Okay.
and College Station, Texas, the home of Texas A&M University. So I was going to flip it and I was going to sell it. The guy that I was going to sell it to wanted me to finance it. Where I screwed up that first deal, which actually led to be a huge blessing, is that
Hmm.
nobody finances a $40,000 house and nobody writes you a check for a $40,000 house.
Yeah.
So 11.5 into a purchase. I put 8 or 9 or 10 into the rehab, and then I ended up keeping it. And I took the guy's advice that was working real hard to get me to finance it for him. And I ran the ad in the newspaper back in that day. I ran the ad in the newspaper that he suggested I run. I rented it for 325 bucks a month. And I'm telling you, buddy, I felt like Donald friggin' Trump on the real estate market in New York City.
That's
No,
so
it,
funny.
and it came together, and it was God tapping me on the shoulder. It was like this warm blanket, this smoothness,
Yeah.
this warmth that I just said, man, this is it. And back in '89, oil, ranching, banking, everything was falling apart here. I went to a closing a week, and sometimes I bought a street, and sometimes I bought one, and sometimes I bought more.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And the margins were so huge, you just had to do what I was doing. And I saw it
Right.
as
Yeah.
obvious. I lectured, I told everybody, all my friends, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And very few did. Now, my wife says something really smart. She goes, Doug, you think it's easy. It's just easy for you. It's not easy for everybody. Now,
Mm,
I
yeah.
I come back to that is it may not be, well, it actually is easy, but it's hard. And what I mean,
Yes.
you get out of it what you put into it. We're really good at what we do, and I enjoy it. I just flat out love it. So today we have two storage facilities. They're about 222 units. I've got three office buildings that measure, about 70,000 square feet. We have about 700 rental units, residential. I've got 48 acres with a house and a barn and a cabin on them. I've got an RV park. It's a very eclectic collection of property, but if it makes sense, if it's a good deal, if it's going to be worth more later and it cash flows, I buy it. But it
Mm-hmm.
has
Wow.
both those qualities. I don't buy mobile homes because they go down in value. I don't buy raw land because I'm the only guy paying for it. So I
Mm-hmm.
buy improved property, hopefully from somebody who wants to get rid of it really badly, and I help them get out of a jam. At the same time, I buy undervalued
At a
property,
discount.
a lot of times under-maintained. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Got it.
That's
Okay. Yeah, it reminds me of it's kind of like the gym. It's very simple to go to the gym. You just show up, but it's hard to consistently do it and stay in shape. So,
Well, what I've found is that I'm excited about it. I'm enthused. I'm excited. I'm passionate, but I have to understand I can only get that way if you egg me on, if you want the conversation, if you keep poking, if you keep asking, if you keep prodding. Because
right.
otherwise, I'll be having a conversation with somebody. My wife will walk in the room and she'll kind of catch snippets of what we're doing. And she'll look at this person I'm sitting with and she'll go, "Oh, no, you did not ask Doug about real estate, did you?" Because I'm driving people from the room. The,
Yeah.
the the wealth building is powerful. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a phenomenal tool, and I want people to be successful. I want my staff to be successful. Hell, I want America to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
the
love that.
the scarcity factor, the victimhood, all this stuff it's the gap between your ears. We
Mm.
accomplish what we think about, and if we can enable people, if we can empower them, if we can give them some tools to use, we can fix that. And I'm all for that. Now, at the same time, if we meet, and I'll buy you the book, there's three or four books that are my favorites. I'll buy you one book. I won't buy you three books. You read that one book, we talk about it, I'll buy you the next one. I used to buy people three books at a time and they never read the books. So they just
What's the
don't.
one book you recommend me? I need to write this down.
Well, the first one is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
I've
He
read that one. That is
defines
fantastic.
assets and liabilities, and that's a must. We have to understand the difference. The second book is probably Gary Keller, the creator of Keller Williams, and his book is The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and it's very real estate specific.
Okay.
So Robert
Writing
Kiyosaki,
this down.
Rich Dad Poor Dad is more kind of a blanket, generalized, let's understand assets and liabilities. And then the second book is much more real estate specific. You can kind of see behind me. I was upstairs. I think the internet connection got kind of poor. I have a historical collection upstairs I was going to have as my background.
Okay.
I've got the shotgun taken from the back seat of Bonnie and Clyde's car. I've got both of the swords that guarded John F. Kennedy's coffin. I've
Wow.
got a baseball game used baseball bat used by Michael Jordan, a team issued baseball
No
jersey,
way.
team,
Doug, how'd you get that one? Is that an
team
auction or
issued
something?
team issued baseball jersey autographed by Michael Jordan, and a baseball signed by Michael Jordan, all in one big shadow box. Custer's pistols, two arrows from Little Bighorn, two spoons from Paul Revere that he made. Anyway, I'm downstairs and we're a little bit less decorated, but
Yeah.
this is the library that I love to read. So I put this in front of my employees and I encourage them to read. And if they want to, it's up to them. If they don't want to, that's up to them. But we want people to be smarter. We want them to do better. We want them to succeed financially and have a great life.
Hmm.
So we do
I love
teach,
that.
we do
Yeah.
preach.
Seems like a lot of the successful, respected guys I know in my life love to read books. So important. I
Thirsty.
So you mentioned your staff just a little bit. Maybe we can get into the business side of things. So remind me, so how many staff do you have currently working for you?
12.
12 staff. Okay. And you guys just operate out of Texas?
Actually, it's smaller than that. Almost 100% of what we own is in Bryan and College Station, the home of Texas A&M University. I came
Got it.
in 1976 as a freshman. I'm sitting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm damn near 7 feet tall. So I came
Are you
down
really? Wow. Okay.
to play basketball at Texas A&M, have a management degree for really lack of a vision, lack
Yeah.
of direction. I started building decks and fences, just kind of looking for beer money. Eventually evolved into a fixer upper. That evolved into buying another one and buying another one and then buying a street. And then I had passion and then I had vision.
Uh-huh.
Today, as we speak, I'm about to close on a house. I've got 3 duplexes, 6 units that are sold. They're going to close probably tomorrow. That I'll 1031 tax exchange into 60 units. So I'm going to move 6 units in equity that's paid for, that's all mine. I'm going to borrow against the 60 units, but I'm going to
Okay.
move the 6 units equity into it. In January, I think I bought a 134 unit complex after selling 46 units to 1031 into it, and so on and so forth. So, you've played the game Monopoly,
Oh,
not
yeah.
not to brag and not to be conceited, but what we're doing as a team is we're playing Monopoly, and it's a run.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
fun. I'm enjoying the heck out of it.
It's a good game for the kids to get good at early.
Well,
It'll pay off.
really is. Yeah. You want to, there's the rich dad, poor dad version of that. I forget what he calls it, but you don't want to buy the boat and you don't want to buy the sports car and you do want to buy the property. And yeah, and that's a shame because a lot of the tenants that I see come in here are college kids with zero awareness of money.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, we spend more time with mom and dad than we do with the kids. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Most of our tenants, though, easily 80%, are young married couples with a child, just kind of getting started on that path, on that life. We do very few freshmen, sophomores. They tend to throw up in the carpet and they're really kind of hard on the property. So we'll do seniors and
Really.
grads, then we'll do married couples and kind of older, mature as opposed to the college kids. But
I
uh,
don't blame you on that front at all. I mean, I was in college, 8 years ago, and I'm
oh,
removed from that now, but I remember how guys acted. So,
me too. Me too. More than 8 years ago, but me too.
right. Some things never change. So, um, that's awesome. I was curious. So, within the property management world, I guess your day to day, what are some things you feel like are going well in your business, and what are some things that have kind of been challenging lately?
I'll be honest. Again, I'm going to be a very boring interview, I guess, but we've got everything firing on 8 cylinders. I've
Mm-hmm.
got staff. I like to empower people. I don't like to micromanage. They do it better than I do. If you were identified as a friend and you came walking into my office and we were side by side and with a smile on your face, you pointed at me and said to my staff, "What does this guy do?" Here, day to day, what does this guy do? They would laugh in a good way, and
Uh-huh.
they would say he does nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
then they would follow that up a couple seconds later and they'd say, "Well, hang on, wait. He's actually the CCO. I'm the chief chaos officer," according to
Okay.
them. And the reason they do that, and it's affectionate, it's positive, it's not bad. I'm taking the 6 units, I'm selling them, flipping them into 60 units. I'm creating a challenge for my staff. I'm
Mm-hmm.
raising the bar on what's expected of them, and we've been doing that for 35 years. Um, I, I, I just love who they are. I love what they do. I love how they do it. And if we do have to talk about something, we call it a teaching moment. If the
Mm-hmm.
room is full, then we're going to talk about it. If it's not, I don't know how to say this. If it's private and it's embarrassing and it's horrible, or they're on the verge of getting fired or something, which never happens, we would go back and do a one-on-one. We would do that behind closed doors. A team
Mm-hmm.
moment means don't take this personally. This is
Mm-hmm.
good. It happens. And this is good for the team. We're all going to discuss this so that it doesn't happen again. And we'll have
Mm.
moments occasionally. We had a tree limb fall on a truck, and we wounded the hood and the fender and maybe even the windshield. Now, I'm probably not liable for that. That's an
Mm-hmm.
act of God, and they should have insurance for it and whatever. But in my eyes, we are liable for that. So we paid
Mm-hmm.
for the damage, but then we also brought everybody in our staff meeting, our weekly staff meeting, and I said, let's talk about this. How did it happen? Why did it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's our responsibility, maybe it's not, but I own the property. I'm going to take responsibility. We're going to pay for that truck. Some
Mm. Love that.
The property manager needs to walk the property on a regular basis for trash, dead cars,
Mm-hmm.
installation of beds and sofas by the trash receptacles and such. And I said, and dead trees. We should be proactive enough to either cut down dead trees or at least trim them back so this doesn't happen. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's a teaching moment.
Mm.
Question is what's going right and what's going wrong. I honestly don't know that there's much that I would correct on the wrong
Mm.
side. Again, I'm 67, so my COO is probably 32,
Okay.
married, just having his second baby, but he loves IT. I don't.
Okay.
So I'm really good at delegating. Remember, they said, "What does this guy do?" And they said nothing.
Yeah.
I'm I'm curious and very invested and very interested in what things are doing, how they're doing, and how well they're going. But I'm not interested to micromanage anybody. I don't
Yeah.
micro accounting. I don't micromanage maintenance. I don't micromanage leasing. But once a week we get together, and my eyes and ears are open. And as long as we're together, in sync, and passionate about who we are and what we do, I'm more than comfortable. Uh,
Mm.
we're probably, I mean, I don't hate to brag because I do it all the time. We're probably one of the best teams in the state, if not the country, in
Yeah.
that love what we do and we're really good at it. Our occupancy year round hovers around 99%.
Oh my goodness.
No,
That's
no, no.
almost unheard of.
And at
Wow.
market rents. If I can
Yeah.
get 1,050, we ask for 1,075. If I can get 1,200, we ask for 1,250.
Yeah.
We're not greedy, but if somebody's standing in front of my leasing people and they know they're amazing in the sense that the car looks really clean, they're intelligent, it's a good dialogue, it's a good energy. If somebody hit us for 25 or 50 bucks, we wouldn't be opposed to giving that to them, renting it faster, renting it quicker, and renting it to better people. So we
Mm-hmm.
charge maximum rents, and we hover around 99+% occupancy. We're
Mm.
really what we do.
Wow. Okay. That's so cool to hear. You
On my
mentioned
on my gravestone will be vacant property sucks. That's my three. Yeah,
no
everybody
vacancy here. Yeah.
that knows me knows that full property, you can stomach suffer with the smallest imperfection. A sewer line that needs to be redug and relaid, a roof, an air conditioning compressor. I mean, those sort of things can eat your lunch. But if it's full and your portfolio is full, you can handle that sort of thing.
Mm. Yeah.
Vacant, vacant property sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of the crux of your business, it seems like. You mentioned IT a little bit with your COO. One of the questions we like to talk about is just AI in general right now. Obviously, it's kind of taking certain things over quickly. How, are y'all currently using AI? And if so, how are you guys using it?
I think it's a brilliant and very timely question. And to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, my COO is Parker, and then I have a young man, younger than Parker. I have a young man named Montreal who is absolutely in love with AI and
Mm.
convinced of the future. You'd have to talk to them. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
listen one ear and I know I'm in over my head, but they're really good at modernizing standardizing, efficiencies, upgrading. We don't radically change things daily, but probably at least once or twice a year, maybe a little bit more than that. We'll upgrade, we'll implement something. COVID changed our business. We
I'm
do
sure.
this, do that. We used to do this. We don't do that anymore. And we found out by eliminating it, we thought it would be bad, and it ended up being good, or it ended up being okay. I love the statement that says it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival to them that can adapt. And
Mm.
the next front. I'm the last guy that you want to invite on your podcast to talk about AI. Some of what it is, I have zero idea of what it is or how to implement it or how to have an intelligent conversation about it.
Yeah,
So I apologize.
totally. Well, you know
I
what
can go.
they say is hire guys that are smarter than you.
I,
So,
I right now bring them in here and we'll enjoy talking to them about it.
yeah,
Montreal is rabid. Montreal will start to salivate if you start talking about AI.
yeah. Do you know specifically what they feel like it could be helpful with? Have you guys had those conversations at all, or?
Oh, I think when we get a what we call a guest card, somebody through Zillow responds to one of our for rent advertisements, so to speak. Yeah, I think there's an instantaneous response with AI as opposed to we get back to you the next day. Uh,
Hmm.
I think there's an AI algorithm or there's an AI app. As soon as somebody fills out the application, it can be processed relatively immediately, as
Hmm.
opposed we process it over the next day or two or three. Yeah, I think there's a handful of things that would be very helpful. You know, again, management is huge, very, very important, but I'm a real estate investor first and foremost. So how
Hmm.
we property is huge as a second business, if you will. But you'd have to talk to them. I have intelligent conversations with staff about a lot of things, a lot of times, but I'm not. I mean, I am ultimately the decision maker, but initially I can delegate. They get to do that.
Sure.
Then I let them make the decision. What happens when you delegate properly, when you delegate efficiently, is it was their idea, it's their solution to the problem, it's their buy-in, and as soon as there's a little bit of a problem with the transition, they know in order to look good that problem needs to go away.
Yeah.
So I delegate really well, and I'm comfortable surrounding myself with people that are smarter than me, that do it better than me, and I don't want to micromanage, and I'm not going to micromanage, and they like the autonomy. They
That's so good. I love that. Yeah. It seems like that's a lot of where kind of work culture has shifted in general is people like autonomy and, ability to be online and work from home if they need from time to time. So, yeah,
there,
that's interesting.
there's another book you asked about books.
Uh-huh.
It just triggered this thought. Michael Gerber and the E Myth. E stands for entrepreneurial, and
Okay. I'm writing
what
this
that
down.
what that what that basically says is that Mary loves to bake pies. She bakes pies for her friend and family, and everybody always tells her she should open up a pie shop. Well, over years, she's encouraged by this support, and she opens up a pie shop. But 11 o'clock on a Friday night, she finds herself mopping the floors and cleaning the tabletops and realizing she still has to do payroll and she has to do inventory and she has
Hmm.
to order materials and supplies for, pies in the future. And she kind of looks around and goes, what have I done? The E myth is essentially you take a hobby that you excel at and you turn it into a business, but you're really not prepared to turn it into a business. There are
Mm.
different personality types. And for instance, there's the factory worker, so to speak, or the technician, and so on and so forth. Well, if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur, you actually need to be all of those things and have documented systems in place.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
email is an amazing read and a transformational adaptation for
Hmm.
who hasn't read it, especially those in a smaller business, but probably even those in a larger business. but larger business, you would assume they have a little more awareness. But the E-Myth
Mhm.
and Michael Gerber is phenomenal. Michael Gerber, by the way, was a pot smoker,
Oh,
and
really?
oh no, and just hung out and didn't have a future and didn't have a vision. And he finally had enough conversations with people that were struggling with their business. He looked into it and he goes, "Why are these people doing what they're doing the way they're doing it?" And he had this epiphany. This is how they need to do it. And he writes this book. And I'm not kidding. It's transformational. It is
Mm.
doubt and skepticism and inefficiencies in my business 20, 25 years ago to really help us become who we are now. We talk about um, delegation, but you have to delegate into a system. You have to delegate into documentation, or even if you're paperless, you have to have rules and regulations, so to speak. It's one thing to understand how, it's a completely different thing to understand why. And he kind of touches on all that, but that's another great book reference I'll pass on to.
I just wrote that down again. Um, yeah,
Agreed.
thanks for sharing that. Well, maybe we can wrap up here in just a few minutes. I was curious. Are you still actively adding to the portfolio? Or are you guys just kind of sitting with what you got and seeing what happens to the market, or what's kind of your mindset around that?
Well, what's fascinating is Warren Buffett's statement: you can't time the market.
Right.
So don't think you're smarter than the market. So what I do is every time there's something of value to buy that's undervalued, I buy it. So right now we're adding a net, I don't know, 50 some odd units to our portfolio. There's another 26 or 28 units that I've looked at, and so on and so forth. Where I'm going with this is that for 35 years, 30 years anyway, I've said things like, we have enough. I'm not going to buy any more. And staff will just look at me and roll their eyes because next week I'm coming in with the keys to something.
Right.
And I just throw them the keys and I say, go do what we do. And they're really good at it. So I love the hunt. I love the negotiations. I love to buy property. I love to own property. I love to manage it. And when I say I manage it, obviously the team manages it.
Totally. Yeah.
So I would say to you that history has proven that we are still in growth mode and we would continue to buy, but they're harder to find. They're rarer. They don't happen as often. But yeah, if it's a good deal, I'm buying it.
Interesting. Yeah, because I was curious. I know this has changed a lot with technology as well, but for lead generation, I mean, are y'all just looking at stuff on the market? Is it kind of a mix of referrals and off-market stuff? How are you kind of sourcing your leads?
Oh, all the above. I found the 134 units for sale online. I called the realtor. He didn't call me back. So I called another realtor that I'd done a lot of business with who worked for that same firm. He
Hmm.
got involved in it and we ended up closing on it. The 60 units that we're about to close on is the exact same seller with the exact same listing agent. And my guy reached out to me and said, you want one more? And we went through the particulars and I went, yeah, I want one more. And we ended up negotiating to a contract. So,
Wow.
it's a, it's like if you're Michael Jordan, and I'm not Michael Jordan, I didn't mean that reference, but if you're Michael Jordan, how many times and how many different ways do you think he gets invited to play basketball? Well,
Yeah.
he's known quantity. Everybody wants him on his team.
Yeah.
From my standpoint, every realtor that I've ever done a deal with has either understood I can close, which means they get a commission, or has passed me on to somebody else when they said, hey, I got a piece of property. Who do you think would buy this sort of thing?
Mm.
Got a phone call about, I don't know, 6 or 8 years ago, 31,000 square foot office building,
Okay.
occupied, occupied to about 30%. Horrible, horrible management, horrible ownership, limited parking, bad design. It was a mess. And
Okay.
sight unseen, I signed or agreed to $29 a foot. Hell, the land's worth that. And
Yeah.
so I grabbed my wife. We went for a drive, and I went to the wrong place. I thought that place, and she embarrassed for me and scared to death. Oh my God, what have you done? And then we ended up pulling up to the place that we actually agreed to, and it was nicer. I mean, it was a better,
Okay.
and it was all brick on the outside, keystones above the doors and windows, and oh, it was beautiful. But as an office building, it was just going to drag its feet along, and it was just going to, be a bit long, drawn out process.
Right.
My literally broke down in tears because she's our senior designer, so she knew it'd be a lot of work for her. She asked me to take her to lunch and buy her a cocktail or two. After we had a couple of cocktails, she said, "Take me back to the property." I said, "Honey, you don't have to." I knew it was just kind of torture for her. We went back and looked at it, and after about a 5-minute walk around, she goes, "Now I can do anything I want to this property, right?" And I said, "No, I got to make money." And she goes, "Residential."
Yeah.
What? She goes, "Look at this thing. It's beautiful from the outside. We're going to gut it, go back wall to wall, the 4 exterior walls, and then I'm going to make it the nicest apartment complex in town." So we paid 915,000 for it. We put about another 2.5 million in it, and it is arguably the nicest property in town. It has foot warmers in Texas in the bathrooms when you're standing in front of the sink and brushing your teeth. It keeps
Yeah.
you warm. The shelving in the closets is designed so that the first 2 or 3 feet is for women's boots, high boots, and then there's tons of shelves and tons of rods and
Wow.
clothes. And then she came up with an idea for the bathroom. The tub shower area is all in one area with a floor drain. So what you do is you take the shower head and you wipe down the entire bathroom, and it goes
Oh,
down,
wow.
and they're just losing their minds over this thing. Yeah, we're 110% occupied. You wait for somebody to die to move out of that property,
Wow.
raising rents and raising
What's
rent.
that place called? It's an apartment complex? I would like to look it up. Is it complete, you said?
Oh yeah, no, we finished it 6 or 8 years ago. It's
Okay.
Copper Chase. Twin City
Let's see here.
Properties.com is our website. Twin City Properties. So TWINCITYPROPERTIES.com. And I don't know if we have any Copper Chases available, but if there are, they don't last very long.
I'm looking at pictures right now on Zillow. Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of what you're going to
Whoa,
see
that's
on our
so cool. Yeah, I see the outside of that.
yeah,
Wow.
a lot of what you're
Such
going
a
to see on our website, it's already rented. Somebody needs to move. They're breaking their lease, and we put it up on the website, helping them and helping us. But Copper Chase is a phenomenally successful purchase, an amazing renovation. And again, I had very little to do with it. My wife is a genius, and she designed it, and she made it gorgeous, and everybody loves it. Everybody wants to rent there.
man, that's so cool, Doug. Um, well, man, I appreciate this has been such a fun conversation. Is there anything else you want to share? It could be something within business, a piece of advice, something within sport, something you're passionate about. Any last words for us?
Well, we have a lot of fun with the 3 word sayings like vacant property sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's a lot of more, not less, and now, not later. How old are you, Chase?
I'm 29.
That's right. We discussed that. So 29. So I can put money in and try and save today, and we can look at 10 or 15 years down the road because I'm 67. Or you can put money in today and you can stop
Mm-hmm.
more money at the end of it than I will because you started earlier, 29 versus 67. So sooner, not later, is a mantra for the younger generation. And people say, I don't know what to invest in, and I don't know anything about real estate, or I don't know anything about the stock market. Well, you don't have to know that much, but you can Google, like Warren Buffett saying, just buy an index fund, that
Yeah.
sort of. You don't have to be a rocket scientist anymore. The biggest problem is people never live below their means.
Yeah.
You're 70% of America can't even write a $500
I
check.
know.
So
It's
how are
so
you going to
sad.
how are you going to put money in an account? How are you going to save anything and grow for
Yeah.
the future? But that's where we say more, not less. That's where we say now, not later. And that's where we say vacant property sucks. I would tell you this, and then we'll call it a day. For the first time buyer, you need to buy a multifamily, a duplex, 2 units, or a fourplex. A
Mm-hmm.
fourplex is even better. You live in 1 unit, you rent out the other 3 units. As they turn, as they become available, you upgrade that unit so that it's designed, gorgeous, it's beautiful. And what's going to happen is instead of you paying 700 or 1,000 a month in rent, you're going to actually make 250 or 500 a month with what the other 3 people are paying you by the time you pay your mortgage, your insurance, your maintenance, and such. And
Yeah.
buying a family is genius, and it's the first step towards financial freedom. You can buy a house, but then again, you're paying for it. You can rent out the bedrooms. We call that a house hack. That's
That's what I
good.
did.
Yep, it's genius. But if you buy a duplex, you rent out the other side, and then you rent out the bedrooms on your side, unless, of course, you're married, you want privacy. But a multifamily is absolutely the first way to go. And then once you buy it, once you own it, Chase, never sell it. The only
Okay.
time you
I'm going to
is
write this down because I've got a couple properties myself.
don't sell it. What
Never
you
sell.
you want to 1031 that into something bigger with more units and
Yeah.
continue to grow your equity. Chase, what happens when most people saving money find themselves with an extra $5,000 or $10,000? What happens?
They go buy a new car. They go on a vacation.
They spend it. So then we
Yeah.
start XY curve. We start that graph all over again. We just move zero a little bit to the right. We move zero a little bit to the right. Real estate being non-liquid is genius. It allows us to invest, and it makes it a little bit difficult for us to get our hands on it. And that's kind of genius for most Americans. We just really lack the discipline. We understand the math. Hell, we got phones that are smarter than anything we've ever had in the past. We've got access to all kinds of information, but really all you need to understand is compounding. And you just need,
Totally.
don't sell it. There's another 3 word. Don't sell it.
Don't sell it.
And let it compound and let it compound and let it compound. We'll leave you with that.
Doug, thanks, man. I wrote that down. It's funny because one of the reasons I love doing this show is I get to talk to so many guys like you, and I feel like I'm getting an education out of this. So can't tell you how much it means. Stick around for just a second. We can keep talking shop for a minute. But Doug, thanks again for coming on the show, man. We're so glad to have you.
Happy to do it, buddy.